So you look out at your yard and all you see is a patch of rocks, dust, and disappointment. You had dreams of a garden, but every time you try to dig, you get that heartbreaking clang of shovel hitting stone. It feels impossible, right? Like you're just stuck with a barren patch of ground instead of the lush, productive garden you've been dreaming of. The frustration is real. You've probably broken a tool or two, your plants have struggled, and you're about ready to call it quits. But what if I told you that this can become this? What if I told you that even the most stubborn, rock-filled ground holds the potential for life? In this video, I'm going to show you the exact steps to turn that rocky ground into a fertile oasis. It's not magic, it's a method, and it works. Before we get to work, let's talk about why rocky soil can be so tough. It's not just that you're hitting rocks with your shovel. The real challenge is physical. Large rocks get in the way of roots, preventing them from spreading out to find water and nutrients. The soil between the rocks can also be a problem, often draining too quickly and making it hard for plants to get a good drink. Now, this doesn't automatically mean your soil has no nutrients. Some rocky soils are surprisingly fertile, but the physical barriers are enough of a headache. Our mission isn't just to pull out rocks. It's to fundamentally improve the structure of the ground itself, to build a better home for our plants. It's gonna be some work, I won't lie, but I promise you the results are so worth it. Let's get started. The first step is the most physical, but it's also incredibly rewarding. We have to clear the ground. My advice? Start with a smaller, manageable area, and you can always expand later. First things first, get all the large, visible rocks off the surface. A sturdy rake can help pull away the smaller stuff. For anything bigger, you'll need good gloves, a wheelbarrow, and your new best friend, a pry bar or a heavy-duty shovel. Work your way across the plot, prying up and hauling away any rock larger than your fist. Now, don't just toss these rocks away in frustration. Think of them as a resource. You can use them to build beautiful borders for your new garden beds, create small retaining walls, or lay out a rustic garden path. You're not just clearing a problem, you're harvesting building materials. Once the big rocks are gone, it's time to go a little deeper. The goal here is to get the big stuff out of the top 8 to 12 inches of soil, creating a clear zone for your future plant's roots. With the large rocks gone, the ground is likely still hard and compacted. Our next job is to loosen it all up. This improves aeration and drainage, allowing air, water, and roots to finally get deep into the ground. You've got a couple of options here. A rototiller is fast and effective. If you go this route, just work slowly and be ready for it to jump when it hits those hidden rocks you missed. You'll need to go over the area a few times, stopping to pull out any new rocks the tiller churns up. However, my preferred method, which is less disruptive to the soil's structure, is using a broad fork or a large garden fork. A broad fork is an amazing tool that lets you loosen the soil deeply without destroying its natural layers. You just press it into the ground with your body weight and rock it back and forth to aerate everything beautifully. Whichever tool you choose, your goal is to break up the soil to a depth of at least 8 inches and ideally a foot. As you work, keep removing the smaller rocks you find. I know it feels tedious, but every rock you remove is one less obstacle for your plants. If there's one step that makes the biggest difference, it's this one: adding organic matter. This is the secret ingredient for turning that rocky dirt into rich, living soil. Organic matter is the key. It helps hold water, provides a slow-release source of nutrients for your plants, and creates a soft, crumbly structure that's easy for roots to grow through. Plus, it feeds all the beneficial microbes that make a soil healthy. So, what should you use? A mix is always best. Great choices include compost. This is the gold standard, full of balanced nutrients and life. Aged manure. Well-rotted manure from cows, horses, or chickens adds a great nitrogen boost. Just make sure it's fully composted, because fresh manure can burn your plants. Leaf mold. Decomposed leaves are fantastic for holding moisture, just like on a forest floor. Sustainable alternatives. Things like cocoa coir or composted bark are excellent for improving water retention. For years, people recommended peat moss, but we now know its harvesting is not sustainable and releases carbon, so it's best to choose these other options when you can. Now, how much do you add? You want to be generous, but there is a sweet spot. A good goal is to spread a solid 3 to 6 inch layer of organic matter over the area you've loosened and then work it into the top 6 to 12 inches of your soil. This will create a mix that's about 25 to 50% organic matter by volume, which is a fantastic foundation for your garden. While it's tempting to think more is better, an extremely high percentage of organic matter can sometimes cause issues with nutrient imbalances or settling, so this balanced approach is best. I want to pause here for a really important alternative. Sometimes the ground is just too rocky, too shallow, or on too steep of a slope to make digging into it practical. If you're digging and feel like you're fighting a losing battle, don't despair. This is not failure. It's an opportunity to try a different and honestly, often easier strategy: building raised garden beds. A raised bed lets you create a custom growing environment right on top of your problem soil. You can build a simple frame from wood, stone, or metal, place it on the ground, and fill it with a quality garden mix. You want a balanced blend, often sold as a garden soil mix, which includes topsoil, compost, and something for texture like sand or fine bark. Just filling a bed with 100% compost can lead to drainage and settling issues. A raised bed instantly gives your plants a foot or more of deep, rock-free, well-draining soil to thrive in. The benefits are huge: superior drainage, no soil compaction, and less strain on your back. For really tough spots, this is often the smartest way to go. Alright, now for the fun part: planting. After all that work, you want to choose plants that are likely to thrive. Even though your new topsoil is fantastic, the ground underneath is still rocky, so picking resilient plants is a smart move. Look for plants that are naturally adapted to tough conditions. Many drought-tolerant perennials, native plants, and Mediterranean herbs are great because they don't mind soil that drains quickly. Think about plants like herbs. Lavender, rosemary, thyme, and oregano basically love this kind of setup. Perennials, coneflowers, sedum, yarrow, columbine, and bellflowers are all tough and beautiful. Grasses, ornamental grasses like blue fescue add great texture and are super low maintenance. When you plant, dig a hole that's a little deeper and wider than you normally would. This gives the roots an extra pocket of that lovely amended soil to get established in before they have to venture into tougher territory. You've cleared the rocks, loosened the soil, added the good stuff, and planted your plants. There is just one final crucial step to protect all your hard work: mulch. A 2 to 3 inch layer of organic mulch, like shredded bark, straw, or shredded leaves, is a game changer. It smothers weeds, holds in moisture so you water less, and keeps the soil temperature stable. Plus, as it slowly breaks down, it continuously feeds your soil. Just remember that different mulches break down at different speeds. A key tip is to keep coarse, woody mulches like bark or wood chips on the surface of the soil. If you mix them in, they can temporarily lock up nitrogen from the soil while they decompose. This one final step protects your investment and is one of the best things you can do for the long-term health of your garden.
If you found this guide helpful and you're feeling inspired to go tackle your own rocky patch, do me a favor and hit that like button. It really helps the channel, and be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell because I'll be sharing more projects and tips as this garden grows. Most importantly, I want to hear from you. Leave a comment below and tell me about your soil. What's the biggest challenge you're facing in your garden? Let's share our stories and learn from each other. Conclusion. So think about where we started. With a patch of ground that seemed like a lost cause, more rock than soil. We followed a clear plan. We cleared the big rocks, loosened the compacted earth, amended it with tons of rich organic matter, chose our plants wisely, and protected everything with a layer of mulch. The transformation is proof that no ground is truly hopeless. It takes sweat, it takes patience, and it takes a whole lot of compost. But the reward, creating a vibrant living garden from what was once barren rock, is one of the most satisfying feelings a gardener can have. Thanks for joining me. Now get out there and start digging.